Hello students, here I am Sailesh Rathod to teach you subject science for class 5. Our chapter topic is our Earth's natural satellite. Okay, before we start, let us know the definition of space. What is space? In previous chapter number 12, we have studied about layers of atmosphere. So what region is present beyond the atmosphere? That region is known as space. Okay, yes. Now comes natural satellite. What do you mean by natural satellite? Or simply, first of all, we can say about satellite. What is satellite? So we can define satellite like any body that revolves around a planet. Yes, like how planets are revolving around the sun, same way satellites are revolving around the planet, okay, in fixed duration. Those objects are known as satellites. Here we are going to talk about natural satellite of our Earth, that is Moon. Here you can see the first page of our chapter, that is our Earth's natural satellite, where you can see very much characteristics of Moon are given over here. Yes, the very first question which is asked over here, that why does the moon shine? We know what are luminous and non-luminous objects. Objects which gives out their own light are called luminous, and objects which do not gives out their own light are called non-luminous. And we know that moon is a non-luminous object because it do not gives out its own light. Then why does the moon shine? We know the reason. What is the reason? That the surface of the moon is reflecting back the sunlight, and this reflected sunlight is falling on Earth. Thus we can see moon as a shining object. Okay, if we talk about more facts of moon, then I can say that yes, the distance between moon and the Earth is about 3,84,400 kilometer. Okay, as well as one more fact I want to share you, that when we are observing moon and sun from the surface of the Earth, we always see that moon is bigger than the sun, isn't it? But in real we know that sun is very much big. Then why it looks smaller? The only reason is that moon is very close to Earth, and that's why it looks bigger, whereas sun is so big but it is very far, that's why it looks small in size. Okay, I hope it is clear in your mind that why sun is looking smaller even though it is the biggest in our solar system. Now let us discuss about the surface of the moon. Now the surface of the moon is very rough and uneven, just like Earth. It is also having mountains and plain regions and valleys, okay, as well as there are very much big hollow craters. Craters means a hollow cavity, okay. And why this crater has formed, do you know? Because of the dashing of the meteors and meteorites on the surface of the moon. In chapter 12 we have seen that Earth's atmosphere is not allowing meteors and meteorites to enter on the surface of the Earth, but there is no atmosphere on moon. That's why these meteors and meteorites are falling on the surface of the moon and forming craters. Okay, here you can see the surface of moon, how you can see these craters are formed. See these hollow cavities. Okay, next topic is faces of moon. Now we see different shapes of moon every night. Okay, yes, here you can see how moon is looking different every night. It is because of how much amount of sunlight is reflected by moon on the surface of the Earth. Depended on that only we are seeing the different faces of the moon. Here you can see that when moon is exactly between the Earth and sun, the part of moon which is facing Earth cannot reflect the sunlight. As a result, we cannot see moon on that day, and that day we consider as a new moon day. But due to the revolution of moon, When moon is going around the earth, we see different shapes of moon. First we see the crescent moon, then half moon, and then more than half, that is known as gibbous moon. Okay, and when moon is going exactly behind the earth, the complete moon is able to reflect the sunlight. Hence that day we see a full moon, and we call that day as a full moon day. After full moon day, again when moon is moving around the earth during revolution, its shape will starts to decrease. First gibbous moon, that is more than half, then half moon, and then crescent moon, and again new moon day will be there. Okay, now it is said that there is no life on moon. In chapter 12 we have seen that air and water is very much necessary to live a life which is present on earth, but this air and water is not present on moon. As a result, life cannot exist over there. Even the gravity of moon is also less than that of earth. It is 6 times less than the gravity of earth. The gravity of moon is 6 times less than the gravity of earth. Even there is no atmosphere, no air. No air means no sound. We cannot hear anything on moon. No atmosphere means no ozone layer. No ozone layer means no protection from the harmful radiations of the sun, as well as because of absence of atmosphere, there is a chances of meteors and meteorites hitting back on the surface of the moon. So due to all these reasons, even because of absence of atmosphere, there will be a vast difference between the temperature of daytime and night time. As a result, we can say that life cannot exist on moon. Okay, now landing on the moon. The American spacecraft Apollo 11 have landed on the moon. Here you can see astronaut landed on the surface of the moon. And this is the Apollo 11 American spacecraft who carried Neil Armstrong and his team on the moon. It was 21st July 1969 when Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin stepped on the moon. Okay, and the third astronaut you can see over here that he is Michael Collins. Okay, next is eclipse of the moon. Eclipse means what? When these three objects, earth, sun and moon, are being in a straight line, on a straight path, and they are hiding behind each other, moon and sun. Okay, just like playing a hide and seek game. That is what we call eclipse. Yes, here you can see a lunar eclipse. Lunar means moon. So when moon is hiding behind the earth, as a result, there will be no sunlight falling on the moon, hence we cannot see moon. So this hiding of moon behind the earth forms a lunar eclipse. Sometimes it may be a complete lunar eclipse, means when completely moon is hidden behind earth, it is complete lunar eclipse. And if partial moon is hidden behind earth, it is considered as a partial lunar eclipse. Second here is a solar eclipse. When sun is hidden behind moon, yes, we know that sun is so big, but as it is far, it looks smaller. So many times sun hides behind the moon. That is what we call solar eclipse. Sometimes complete sun is hidden behind the moon. We call it as a complete solar eclipse. And if half part or say some part of sun is hidden behind the moon, then we call it as a partial solar eclipse. Okay. So this is what we call this eclipse, solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. Now next is moon and the tides. Tides means nothing but pulling of water of ocean and sea due to gravity of moon. Okay, whichever part of earth is facing the moon, in that part the water of sea and ocean is attracted towards the moon. As a result, the water of that sea and ocean will rise up. This is what we call high tide. Okay, and the phase between the two high tide is known as a low tide. Now remember that on the day of new moon and full moon, this high tide is at its highest intensity. Okay, again I am saying this tides is at the highest intensity on the day of new moon and full moon. Okay, yes. Next, artificial satellite. Now as we are always saying and using the word natural satellite for moon, it means there are artificial satellites also. Yes, human beings have made artificial satellites also, which is revolving around the earth as same like that of moon. These artificial satellites are meant for special purposes. Yes, they are meant to for the uses of well-being. Okay, maybe different types of satellites like communication satellites are there, weather satellites are there, which studies about the weather and the atmosphere of the earth. Communication satellites helps us to communicate, isn't it, by sending signals of television programs, radio, as well as today we are using internet facilities. All this is because of this type of communication satellites. So we can say that artificial satellites are used or say useful to us very much in our daily life. I hope you have studied and understood this chapter. Those who have missed the explanation of this chapter,